Good morning, good Wednesday morning, and welcome back to Commentators Corner, episode 11. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Preisman with you once again as we close out the month of October and get ready to head into November. And Brendan, we got playoff football coming up this week.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot. We've got playoff football, some playoff baseball. Game one of the World Series was last night. We'll get to that. We've got some NBA basketball. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of opinions on that. College football is getting really heated up. There's a Michigan State game this Saturday that we'll probably have to talk a little bit about because it could end up deciding who plays Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. And there's hockey as well, so we're pretty busy right now, aren't we?
Yeah, no kidding. So it begins with prep football, and prep football is in a pretty good place right now. After blowing out top 10 Lincoln East 52-7, it was.
Yep.
52-7. Last Friday night, Junior Jays get set to host Grand Island in the first round of the playoffs Friday night at 7 p.m. Alex Tejan and Brendan Preisman will be on the call. I'll be out of town for it, but they'll still do a great job, and Prep should be able to as well on the field. This team's red hot. They've won 6 straight. They've got a run game that's cooking right now. Even without Marty Brown last week, he got injured 4 carries in, hurt his ankle, missed the rest of the game. Even without him, Jack Stessman still took over and ran for over 180 yards and 4 touchdowns. So the Junior Jays have a lot of depth. The defense has proven that they might just be the best in the state, holding Noah Walters and that Lincoln East offense silent until the very last play of the game.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the defense. Walters had his third worst completion percentage of the season against Prep, just 16 of 27. Only threw for 144 yards, which is very bad. Like, looking at his game-by-game stats throughout the rest of the year, you're going to see a lot of he had, 300 so yards in this game. Oh, he had 400 so yards in this game. That's his worst passing performance this year, just like going game by game, by over 100 yards.
Wow.
So, great job on the defense. And as you mentioned, the offense did pretty well without Marty Brown. He was doing pretty well himself on that first drive, 4 carries, 26 yards. Mm-hmm. Left the game with an ankle injury. They don't believe it was anything serious, but he was held out of the rest of the game, hopefully just as a precaution. We're hoping that he should be back for the game this Friday. We don't know yet. It's a little bit nebulous. But Jack Stessman stepped up fairly capably in his absence, I'd say. 21 carries, 190 yards, 4 touchdowns for him. And then Andrew Jopa came in as the backup in the fourth quarter when the bench started clearing. 7 carries, 55 yards, and he finally got a touchdown after getting robbed of one against Lincoln Northeast.
Yeah, there we go. So the Junior Jays showing a lot of depth on Friday night, and should potentially have an opportunity to do it again. Grand Island coming in here. Obviously, you can't underestimate any team, especially when you get into playoff time. But Grand Island does not have the same kind of resume that Prep has. Yes, they're 6-3.
Yeah, they're 6-3. They've won their last 4.
Yeah, they've won 4 straight, but don't have the quality wins. They don't have any top 10 wins like Prep has. And then when they have played top 10 teams like Westside and Lincoln Southeast, who isn't even a top 10 team, they've lost. So
and even Kearney they lost to.
Yeah, lost to Kearney as well. But Grand Island, can't underestimate them. Kite Fife has proven to be a nice dual threat quarterback. No relation to Prep offensive coordinator TJ Fife, but we'll see if his offense can outduel TJ Fife's offense, which has been a tough task for any team this year.
Yeah, well, the key for Kite Fife is he's at almost 2,000 total yards on the year, nearly 1,200 passing yards, over 700 rushing yards. So the issue isn't necessarily him. The issue is if Prep keys in on Fife, who's going to be able to step up for that Grand Island team? Is it going to be one of their running backs, senior Aiden McDermott, who's got 268 yards on the year? Is it going to be a junior running back, Jace Chrisman, who's only got 126 yards on the year? Outside of Fife, this offense is pretty sparse. So if Prep's able to slow him down even to about, 3/4 or 80% of his normal production, they might be able to run away with this game, especially if either Brown or Stessman, whichever back gets the starting nod on Friday, has a game like Stessman did against Lincoln East.
Yeah, so I think I said that game was at 7 p.m. at the start. That game's 7:30 p.m. because Burke has to play at 4 p.m. before. Obviously, Prep and Burke sharing the field still and playing both on Friday. So the Burke game is at 4. The Prep game is at 7:30, and that game will be on CPSN. Brennan and Alex on the call. So with that, we'll move on to college football. Pretty nice week last week, week 8 already. Time's been flying in college football, but had some great games. We had a 9-overtime game between Illinois and 7th-ranked Penn State, with Illinois winning it 28-18.
I thought that was going to be the what is happening for this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we can go more in depth if you want to later on. But.
I mean, we don't have to, but that was, in my opinion, the craziest game of the weekend. I remember I was just chilling at home, and I checked Twitter, and it's just like, we've got a 2-point conversion shootout. So I turn on the TV. It's just like, oh, Penn State, Illinois are in triple overtime. That's interesting. And then it went to non-oople overtime. So that was very entertaining.
Yeah, 2018 was the final score. Oklahoma, number 3 Oklahoma, had a little bit of a scare in Lawrence against Kansas. They were able to win at 35-23, though, despite Kansas opening up the stadium to anybody who wanted to come in, which was interesting, for free. But Oklahoma, 28 points in the final 16 minutes of the game. They win at 35-23. Appalachian State took down 14th-ranked Coastal Carolina and stormed the field. That was a pre-Saturday game. 16th-ranked Wake Forest outdueled Army 70-56 with 1,233 total yards of offense between the two teams. Second-ranked Cincinnati is still undefeated after beating Navy 27-20. Wisconsin knocked off 25th-ranked Purdue 30-13. Iowa State pulled the upset on 8th-ranked Oklahoma State.
I think Iowa State was actually favored in that game. That was one of the things that people found a little crazy. It's just like, wait, Oklahoma State's an undefeated top 10 team, and you're telling me they're an underdog to an unranked Iowa State team? Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Brock Purdy played a really nice game. Iowa State got the win 24-21. 10th-ranked Oregon was able to survive UCLA 34-31, the final score there. Oregon playing a lot of close games lately. And then finally, 18th-ranked NC State lost to Miami 31-30. So, pretty fun week.
Yeah, your Fighting Irish one beat USC pretty handily, 31-16. And one of my new favorite Texas teams, UTSA, the Roadrunners, went into the rankings and proved that they were not a fluke, winning 45-16 over Louisiana Tech. They're still unbeaten. And you mentioned Wake Forest earlier. What you did not mention is that they're undefeated and currently the leaders in the ACC. So get ready to talk to your grandkids about a playoff berth for Wake Forest if it comes to that.
Goodness gracious.
I mean, if you're the college football playoff committee and it comes down to Wake Forest or Cincy, do you really trust them to put Cincy in?
Yes. Yes, I think they have the resume with the with the Notre Dame win. I think they've got enough.
All right, if you say so.
Anyway, moving on to Week 9, the headliner is in the Big Ten. 6th-ranked Michigan at 8th-ranked Michigan State in East Lansing. Last time that was a big top 10 game. We had the, whoa, he has trouble with the snap.
And the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts-Jackson, and he scores! On the last play of the game.
Yep, so here we go again. I don't know if we'll have another crazy play like that, but should be a great game between Michigan and Michigan State. As you said earlier, could decide, based on the Ohio State results later on, both these teams are still yet to play Ohio State, could decide who plays in the Big Ten Championship representing the East. Then Iowa at Wisconsin. Iowa ranked number 9, already lost to Purdue a couple weeks ago, but probably has to be on upset watch again going to Madison. They're coming off the big win over Purdue. Your Longhorns are visiting 16th-ranked Baylor. Georgia, Florida. Georgia, the top team in the nation. Florida now unranked.
And one thing I saw that was interesting today on ESPN about Georgia, Florida. Right now, the spread's at about 14 points in favor of Georgia. If that holds, that would be the largest spread in this rivalry since 2009.
Wow.
When Florida was favored by 14.5.
Yeah, it's been a lot more competitive. I mean, I don't think that spread speaks to that it's, not that competitive. Like, Florida's still a decent team. Georgia's just that
good.
Georgia's
incredible.
just that good.
Incredible.
Ole Miss at Auburn. That's another ranked game. 10 versus 18. Kentucky, 12th ranked Kentucky at Mississippi State should be a close one there. Penn State, Ohio State. Penn State is 20th. Ohio State is 5th. Buckeyes rolling. Got a big win over Indiana. Blowout last week. And then
ever since that Oregon game, they've been on cruise control, basically.
And then the reason I will be out of town this weekend, North Carolina at 11th ranked Notre Dame on Saturday night. So pretty fun week coming up. A lot of big games, especially in that Big Ten.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say quickly about the Texas game is look out for the upset. I know it's at Baylor and they're number 16, but Texas has been in a lot of close games against far more talented teams than Baylor, and I think they're going to pull the upset in Waco. It's in Waco, right?
Yes.
Okay, yep. And I kind of want to talk about Michigan State. This might not just decide who plays in the Big Ten title game. It could also decide a playoff spot because both these teams are unbeaten. Neither of them have really been challenged yet, except for, ironically, Nebraska, who is not very good, but they've been in close games with Nebraska. Other than that, though, it's been mostly smooth sailing for these guys. Cade McNamara of Michigan, 5-1 touchdown to interception ratio, over 1,100 yards for him. Peyton Thorne from Michigan State, 1,700 yards, 15 touchdowns, 4 picks. And then Michigan State's got a legit Heisman contender on their hands in Kenneth Walker. 152 carries, 997 yards, 9 touchdowns for him already on the year. So if he can show out against the Wolverines and he's able to pull Michigan State to what would be kind of an upset because Michigan's favored, that might be his Heisman moment.
Yeah. And I really think whoever comes out of the East is probably going to win that Big Ten title game at this point. Iowa has had a couple of down weeks. Obviously, the loss to Purdue is still really yet to see how they rebound, especially with the tougher game coming up against Wisconsin. But it sure looks like the winner in the East is going to win the whole thing. So that could be an automatic playoff berth.
Because Ohio State's in the East as well, right?
Yep.
I'm not necessarily sure Ohio State gets out of there. Like, considering that they still have the loss to Oregon in the horseshoe, and considering that Oregon has now that loss to Stanford and a couple of other close games, admittedly those games are filled with a bit of extenuating circumstances, but the fact remains that Ohio State still has a loss at home already and haven't played Michigan or Michigan State, both of whom look like legit playoff contenders. So there's a lot that could happen between now and Conference Championship Week, but don't be surprised if it's not Ohio State making it out of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to how close Alabama would be able to play Georgia in that SEC title game, because you're going to have Georgia, you're going to have Cincinnati, Oklahoma has control of its own destiny.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Why not?
Hear me out. What if they lose to Oklahoma State?
Well, that's why I said they have control of their own destiny. They win out, they're in.
They're not going to win out.
Okay.
All
right.
They're not talented enough to win out. You can't be down to Kansas at halftime at any point and be like, oh yeah, that's a playoff team right there. Yeah. It's not. It's not at all. And the fact that Texas lost to them makes me extremely unhappy.
Yeah, no bias there at all from you, but whatever. Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Do you think they should be a playoff team?
If they win out, they should.
But they're not good. They've almost got beaten by Kansas and Nebraska, just to name 2. You think that's a playoff resume?
Well,
hold
on.
Who have they beaten that's legitimate?
Well, let me pull up their schedule here. I think we can discount the Nebraska loss because that was Spencer Rattler, but TCU, they blew out TCU just fine.
Oh, boy, TCU, what a big playoff contender win. You got to beat TCU if you're going to make the playoff.
What do you want them to lose to them?
Yes! Yes, I want them to lose every game they play.
Well, while we're fired up, I think this is probably a good time to move on to NFL picks.
Oh, you're going to get really fired up about this one.
My lead on you has dropped to 1 game.
Woot woot.
And
thank you, by the way, for thinking Philly would beat Las Vegas in Las Vegas. I'm
taking some shots this week, and it starts with Thursday night. Green Bay at undefeated Arizona. I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are hot right now, but Devontae Adams is out. I got to reconsider that. I would have had Green Bay beating Arizona with Adams playing, but now I don't. 27-24 Arizona.
Okay, thank God. I was really worried there for a second because I had Arizona, and Adams being out was one of my keys as well. It's just the fact that without him, Rodgers still doesn't have a lot of weapons. That's why he wanted to trade in the offseason. He was tired of only having, like one good receiver and then a whole bunch of replacement-level guys. I think it's the Cardinals 31-24.
Yeah, I've got Arizona 27-24. Arizona's defense has been really nice lately. Falcons, Panthers.
Oh, God.
Atlanta coming off a pretty solid win over Miami, 30-28 on a game-winning field goal. It looked like they were going to choke it like they usually do, but able to pull it off. Carolina's a mess right now, still without Christian McCaffrey. Got blown out by the Giants last week. I've got Atlanta 24-20.
Yeah, this was basically just a coin flip game for me. It was like, I don't know, why not the Falcons? Yeah, I've got them 24-23. I think it's going to be a pretty close game because both of these teams are kind of enigmas to me, given that they have almost no talent and don't like winning very much. But I think the Falcons are going to get this one.
Buffalo and Miami. Bills, still the Bills, coming off a bye week.
Dolphins still the Dolphins.
Yeah, Dolphins still the Dolphins. Not much more to say. Josh Allen, that offense, probably going to have a big game. It's unfortunate for me because I'm going up against you and Stephon Diggs in fantasy. But 34-17 Bills.
Yeah, I've got 28-13. I don't necessarily think it's going to be that high scoring, especially with the Bills having a pretty solid defense on the year. But, yeah, I think they pull it off pretty easily. I think it's a comfortable win. I've got the Bills 28-13.
Bears and 49ers. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a shot on this one. Chicago is the underdog, but
no,
I think
don't.
I think they're
don't.
I know they. Okay.
No.
Yeah, they played Tampa Bay last week. Tampa Bay is really good. Justin Fields is obviously going to struggle, but they've got an easier matchup.
No,
I don't think it. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be able to run the ball well with Khalil Herbert, and I think their defense is good enough to beat San Francisco 24-17. I know you can't see him right now, but Brendan has
I'm about to cry.
His head in his hands.
I'm about to cry.
Why?
What are you doing to yourself? Do you want me to win?
No.
How do you think San Francisco's going to beat or how do you think Chicago's going to beat San Francisco?
Because they have a pretty good defense.
So does San Francisco.
They got torn up by Wentz last week.
It did not get torn up by Wentz last week.
30,
they played in a monsoon.
They gave up 30 points. Yeah, so that should help the defense, should it not?
You'd figure. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But Chicago's missing, 4 defensive players. Akeem Hicks is out. Deshaun Gibson is questionable. Caleb Johnson is out. Justin Fields can't hold on to the freaking football.
He just played Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a completely different animal.
And now he gets to go up against Nick Bosa. Do you not understand this?
It's not the same defense.
It's not, but it's close. Tampa Bay's defense is world beaters. I will give you that. But you cannot say, oh, well, he's only got to go up against Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, D. Ford, all those guys. He'll be fine. He will not be fine. He is going to commit at least 3 turnovers is my guess, and the 49ers are going to win 17-13.
Okay, low scoring. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. I don't think you'll argue with me on this one. Browns 27-20. Baker Mayfield might be coming back. Still waiting to see how the running back situation looks in Cleveland, but either way, they should get the job done.
Yeah, this game, along with the Panthers-Falcons game, was one of those that I kind of struggled with for a bit just because I'm not sure about the Browns without Mayfield out. I really feel like this is going to be a lot more scoring than you do, but, I agree with you. I think the Browns are going to pull it off. I've got 13-10.
Oh, my gosh. All right. That would be an AFC North type of game. Eagles at Lions. Philadelphia struggling right now. Jalen Hurts has been great in fantasy, but not great as a passer. This time, I don't think he's going to get it done. They lost to the Raiders last week. Detroit is not playing like a team that's completely thrown in the towel. Oh, we're awful. We stink.
I agree with you.
They're playing like they want to win a football game, and I think they're finally going to get it done. Philadelphia is not
In other
good.
words, they're the Nebraska
okay.
of the NFL, and they are going to be close, but just close enough to break their fans' hearts. You realize Hurts leads the Eagles in both passing and rushing yards, right?
Okay, and?
He's a very good player.
No, he's turning the ball over too much.
That's okay, as long as he's making up for it on the ground. And
that helps in fantasy.
And going up against Jared Goff,
The Eagles' defense is bad.
And who on the Lions is going to cover Devontae Smith?
Figure it out.
You're going to get Jeff Okudah on him and watch him get burned over and over again? Okay.
They'll figure it out. They held the Rams down for a pretty good time last week.
Because they kept not giving the Rams the ball. What happened when they gave the Rams the ball, Tyler?
Well,
what happened when they gave the Rams the
ball?
ball?
The Rams' offense is a lot better than Philly's. You got a lot more to worry about with Matthew Stafford
and
in that game.
Goff has more picks than Hurts on the year. What's your point?
Well, they can run the ball. They should be able to run it.
Who? The Lions?
Yes.
Whose main running back has less rushing yards than the Eagles quarterback? That Lions team?
They have a split backfield. Of course their main running back has less.
If your running back leads your team in receiving yards and it's week 9 at this point, is it week 8 or 9?
It's week 8.
Yeah. If your running back leads your team in receiving yards by week 8 and you're not Christian McCaffrey, you have a serious problem.
27-24 Detroit.
No.
Take it or leave it.
35-28 Philly.
Okay.
You are an idiot.
Philadelphia scoring 35. All right. See what happens there. Tennessee at Indianapolis. The Titans generally play really well in Indy. Derrick Henry tends to have big games on the road against AFC South teams, and I think he'll have another one, which is unfortunate because I'm going up against you and Derrick Henry in fantasy. 34-24, Tennessee.
27-10 Tennessee. Indianapolis looks like they need a spark, and I don't think they're going to get it against Tennessee. So, yeah, Titans win pretty easily.
Bengals at Jets. Cincinnati is on a roll right now. Went on the road and blew out Baltimore last week. 200 receiving yards for Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow had probably his best game as a pro in Baltimore, and I think they'll continue to roll against the Jets, 27-17.
Yeah, this game was actually a bit of a tough one for me. I just wasn't sure how many points I wanted the Jets to have score. I settled on 3.
Ooh.
I've got 31-3 Bengals. I think the Jets are bad.
Okay. Yeah, the Jets gave up 54 last week to New England. They're in a bad place right now.
They gave up 54?
Yes, the Jets defense.
Oh, they did.
The Jets defense had negative 11 fantasy points.
Negative 11?
Yeah.
Did you play somebody who had them?
No, I just saw it somewhere.
Jeez.
Yeah. Rams at Texans. This is easy. LA is really good. Houston is not. Only question is how wide is the margin?
38-0 Rams.
I've got 3 touchdowns. 34-13.
38-0.
Seriously? Think Texans gonna get shut out?
Yep.
All right.
They are not good.
All right, Patriots and Chargers. Chargers coming off a bye week. Last time they played, got the blowout loss to Baltimore, but I think they'll rebound this week. It'll be a little bit close, but Justin Herbert and company will take care of business, get back on track with a 28-20 win.
You think it's going to be that close?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've got
New England's playing pretty well right now.
I've got 31-10 Chargers.
Okay. Seahawks Jaguars. This one's kind of a mess with Russell Wilson now. Seahawks offense definitely not the same, only scoring 10 points against the Saints in their Monday Night Football loss last week. But I think they'll do enough to beat out Trevor Lawrence, 23-17 at home.
I disagree.
Okay.
I've got the Jaguars 20-14. I could see Seattle winning this, but with Wilson out, I don't think they will. I mean, their offense without him is like non-existent, and I think that the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence are going to string together enough decent drives to get the win.
Washington at Denver. Washington last week went on the road to Green Bay, kept it a lot closer than a lot of people might have thought. Terry McLaurin had a big game. Denver lost to Cleveland in a close one. Denver, after that undefeated start, has, I think, lost 3 or 4 in a row. And I've got Washington on the road in this one, 27-24. I just don't really have that much faith in Denver anymore.
I don't either. I've got Washington 24-10.
All right. Buccaneers at Saints. NFC South rivalry playoff rematch. Tom Brady's on a roll, just threw his 600th career touchdown pass. And I think he'll throw a few more in New Orleans for a 31-24 win.
You think Tampa Bay's got it?
Yes.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. I'm not sure it's going to be as close as that. I've got 28-14 Buccaneers. I think it's going to be a pretty easy win, especially with how bad the Saints looked against Seattle.
Cowboys at Vikings. Dallas coming back off a bye week. Their last game was the overtime win over New England. Minnesota off a bye week as well. Their last game was an overtime win in Carolina. But Dallas, I think with Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott behind an offensive line that's on fire once again. I think Dallas has the most complete offense it's seen really since 2016, Dak Prescott's rookie year.
Zeke's rookie year too, I think.
Yeah, Dak and Zeke's rookie year. I think they'll go on the road in Minnesota and win it 27-24. Could be pretty close. A lot of offensive firepower, but can't bet against Dallas.
I agree. I've got Dallas 23-14. I just think that offense is pretty solid, and I think it's going to be enough to get the job done against Minnesota, 23-14.
Chiefs-Giants. Chiefs had a stinker last week in Tennessee, a 27-3 loss to the Titans. They're now 3-4, and everybody in Kansas City starting to hit the panic button.
As you should.
Thankfully, they've got a slightly easier game. I don't know whether to say much easier or slightly easier because the Chiefs are so unpredictable. But the Giants come into town for Monday Night Football. Still looks like they'll be without Saquon Barkley, but the Giants played a solid game last week. Daniel Jones Could prove he could be a passer, a rusher, and a receiver. Made a nice catch, taking a big hit on a trick play. I have the Chiefs, though, 30-20. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Oh, my gosh. You're going to do it, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my.
I've got the Giants.
He's betting on the derp.
I am betting on the derp. Actually, no, I'm betting against the derp. The derp in this case is Daniel Sorensen, who I think is emblematic of the entire Chiefs defense. Do you know how many times Tyrann Mathieu has thrown up his hands in frustration this year?
Way too many.
Yes, way too many. You know what he's going to do in this game? Throw up his hands in frustration at least twice. Kadarius Toney is a very solid receiver. He's extremely underrated by a good chunk of the NFL public, and he is going to rip that secondary to shreds. Daniel Jones is a dual-threat quarterback, 41 carries, 229 yards on the year. He's going to rip that defensive line to shreds. The linebackers for the Chiefs basically don't exist on the field most
Hey, put
times.
some respect on Bolton and Gay.
I will not put some respect on them because their defense sucks.
Bolton and Gay have played well.
Oh, they've played well. Well, let's look at how many points the Chiefs have given up, shall we? All right, let's see. Overview of their schedule. Okay, so they beat Cleveland 33-29. Gave up 36 to Baltimore.
We get it. The whole unit is not bad, but there are individual players
They've
that
had
are
one
good.
game where they've given up less than 20.
I'm not saying the whole.
And that was the football team.
Brennan. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not saying the whole unit is bad. You just
Yes.
called out the linebackers. I'm telling you, the linebackers have actually been good.
If you say so. But I think the Giants have it. I really do. I don't think that the Chiefs I don't think that the Chiefs defense is going to be able to stop them, and I think Mahomes is going to have at least one boneheaded play that's going to backfire on him, and that's going to be enough in a 31-28 win.
Okay, so we differ on 49ers Bears, we differ on Eagles Lions, Jaguars Seahawks. I don't know what a Seaguar is. I'd like to see that. And then Giants at Chiefs. So those 4 games, I still have the 1-game lead, but things could change drastically.
I'll be up 2 at the end of the week.
3 if everything goes to plan for you.
Well, I don't think everything will, so.
Okay.
No. I'll be up 1. Because you'll get 1 game. My guess is you'll probably, if I had to pick, I'd say you'll get the Jaguars-Seahawks game, but I'll get the other 3.
Okay. All right, so we got that down. We play each other in fantasy football as well, so this is a big week coming up.
I'm favored, by the way.
Yes, you are. Whatever. I've got the better record, though. So.
And I've got the better team.
Sure.
No, like I actually
do.
It's quantifiable data.
It's not quantifiable.
I've put up already 1,000 points this year. You've put up like 850.
Whatever.
Like
I've had George Kittle out.
The only reason
I need George Kittle back.
The only reason you're 6-1 is because you played the opposition that scores literally the least points in the league.
I need George Kittle back. All right, my team will be fine when I get Kittle back. I'm
sure
6-1 anyway.
Because you've played crappy opponents.
No, I just put up 172 with like my whole team on bye last week.
No,
all right,
crappy opponents.
We'll see what happens Sunday. World Series Game 1 was last night. The Braves beat the Astros 6-2. Atlanta led 5-0 after 3 innings. Jorge Soler had a home run on the first swing of the Fall Classic.
Real quick.
What's up?
Tyler has not had an opponent score over 125 fantasy points this year.
Yes,
just so you know. No, you haven't.
Didn't Rob do it?
No, Rob only put up 124. And you still lost. If you don't... Viewers, how about this?
Week 2.
Just tell us what you think is going to happen. I think I'm going to win by at least 15.
15? Oh, my God.
Please let us know.
Get out of here. All right, anyway, back to the World Series. Atlanta won 6-2. Jorge Soler homered on the first swing of the series in the first inning. Eddie Rosario, NLCS MVP Eddie Rosario, collected 2 more hits, and the Braves got at least 1 hit from all 9 members of the starting lineup. So they get the Game 1 victory. Game 2 is tonight. Max Fried takes the mound for the Braves against Jose Urquidy of the Astros. So should be fun there. Should be a fun series. We'll see if Atlanta can pull it off.
I bet it will be. On to the NBA. We're through 1 week so far, and the Bulls and Warriors garnering most of the attention as they should. The Warriors 4-0, reminding some people of their dynastic days back in 2015 and 2016. That's their best start since those years. And Stephen Curry had a game with 45 points and 10 rebounds in a close win over the LA Clippers a couple of nights ago. The Bulls 4-0 for the first time since 1996-97 when a certain Michael Jordan was on the team. They also have the 4th best point differential in the league, and they've had a couple of nice wins as well. So far, the league leaders in points per game are Ja Morant, the third-year point guard for the Grizzlies, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Karl Anthony Towns of the Timberwolves, Paul George of the LA Clippers. I think the Celtics so far are the most intriguing team. Jalen Brown had 46 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals in a double overtime loss at New York City, which is, according to ESPN, like the most stat-padded game of the year. I looked it up, and they've got this formula where they keep track of all the different stats and like add them up in different ways. And he was the highest scorer on there by like 8 total, or 8 points, whatever that means. Jason Tatum, his teammate, also in the top 5 after putting up 41 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists in an overtime win against the Charlotte Hornets. So Celtics look very interesting, but a lot of close games, too many so far this season for my liking. And that Hornets team also looks interesting. Certainly one of the most exciting teams to watch. They're currently the 2nd seed in the East through a week behind second-year point guard LaMelo Ball. And then in the West, the Jazz are undefeated, looking to capitalize on a best in the West season last year that ended too soon for them in the conference semifinals. They're undefeated right now. And the Bucks still look pretty good with the defending finals MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So NBA's looking pretty fun. The Lakers actually got a win with LeBron James out last night against the Spurs. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
Overtime.
There's a lot going on in the NBA, and all of it's pretty fun. So
Yep, 2 games on ESPN tonight. Got a doubleheader at 6:30. The Trae Young-led Atlanta Hawks go on the road to New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. And then at 9 p.m. on ESPN, the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant, leading scorer in the league at the moment, they go on the road to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. So should be a fun night. Should be a fun season. Just a weekend, already a lot of action. Quickly, the NHL going on as well. We're 2 weeks into that. 4 teams are still undefeated on the ice. Panthers, Hurricanes, Blues, and Oilers are all still without a loss. Alex Ovechkin, leading goal scorer, with 7 as he continues to try and chase history, just racking up the goals, trying to pass some people in the career mark. Connor McDavid, 13 points, leads the league. That Oilers offense looks good as expected. And the Seattle Kraken had their home opener on Saturday night, and that was a fun environment. Couldn't even hear the goal horn over the roar of the crowd on the first goal scored by Seattle. Vince Dunn got that one. Kraken did lose to Vancouver, though, however. So NHL, 2 weeks in. NBA, a weekend. Already a lot of fun. NFL still rolling. Best time of the year, right?
yeah, it certainly is. But we're both a little tired, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you this, I'm already ready for the weekend. I was ready for the weekend yesterday, so.
I feel that. I still have to drive 8 hours tomorrow, which is great, but whatever.
Oh, you're leaving tomorrow?
Yeah, driving to Chicago tomorrow night, staying at a hotel on South Side or something, and then South Bend 2 hours Friday morning.
Nice. You should spend a night at the wonderful University of Northwestern. University.
That's way out of the way. That's like an hour out of the
Yeah.
way.
I mean,
we were going to Milwaukee.
You will
that'd
not
be great.
believe how long it takes to get there from the airport. It's like 2 hours if you take the train all the way.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, because the airport's like way out to the left of Chicago.
Yeah.
So you've got to go into the center of Chicago where the loop is.
Oh, that's right.
And then you've got to take the loop all the way out north. That is, it's a long ride. I would not recommend it.
It's not great. And driving isn't great either because, I mean, the highway, I mean, when I drove there in June, I mean, the highways, everybody, like, the speed limit is completely optional on the highways. Like, everybody's going 20 over on the highways. But once you get off the highways and onto the side streets, it is jam-packed. So,
yeah, like,
Chicago's not great.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, one of my favorite movies. There's no way they could have done all that in a day.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Like, the baseball game, unless they stayed for, like, that half inning and somehow caught a foul ball, even that, just like, no. Yeah. You can't get to a baseball game at Wrigley and then go back home in, like, from 8 to 3. That's just not possible.
Yep, so there we go. Episode number 11 in the books. Football Friday night, prep against Grand Island, round 1 of the playoffs, 7:30 on CPSN. Brendan and Alex on the call. Be sure to be there or join them. And Brendan, anything else on this?
Well, I do apologize to the viewers for the what is happening. I suppose the what is happening for this podcast could be the podcast itself, given the
It's
amount
pretty
of
rowdy.
arguing and talk that went on. Yeah, this was probably our most fun podcast
Yeah.
of the year so far. But if the viewers desire, we can do 2 What Is Happenings next week, just in case. The arguing will continue, maybe a little bit of a movie discussion at the end of each podcast, because the Ferris Bueller one was kind of fun. It was pretty quick, but it was fun. So, once again, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you tune in to the game against Grand Island on Friday night if you cannot be at Burke Stadium. Probably going to be the last game I ever call, last football game I ever call as a prep student. So make sure to tune into that. Hope to see you all either there or watching it. Tyler, have fun in South Bend, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Yep. Next week, I'm not sure exactly what day of the week.
Yeah.
Probably
Next week.
Thursday.
Thursday. All right.
Thursday would be an A-Day. So, yep.
We'll see you next Thursday then.
Thursday morning, same time, same place. That's it for episode number 11. Thank you all for tuning in. See you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Go Giants.